Hello everybody, my name is Paul and welcome to part 3. Jesus Christ, I don't think we're going to be making it in 4 parts. I might have to increase it possibly. So yeah, I don't know. But I hope you are enjoying this because to be honest, I'm pretty enjoying myself like just talking about this. I do love FateGrandOrder. I still have the mobile game of course, but in all honesty, like I would say that maybe ranking all these characters might have been a bad idea. But then again, it's just I just some of these characters I just want to talk a lot on why I like them. Mostly because of their story. But yeah, either way, let's see where we left off. And it's the same as rules as before. I'll be counting how you know how they're written in the game and their character development that's kind of intertwined, their personalities and then their looks, with the only exception is that their summer versions will be ranked differently or paired together depending on their personality if it's different enough. Also, any ascensions that are with these characters, if the ascension is basically interpret it as a different character, then I'll basically rank them differently. Also, alternate costumes will not count, obviously. So yeah, here we go. Think we're off, kind of. Actually, yeah, we're actually now at the point where we're just doing the events at this point. So technically, we stopped that. I think Singularity. Oh boy, is kind of a while. Honestly, I am actually doing most of this like before I do any of the titles, so I will know which singularity that these guys stopped at. But yeah, but I think we actually started off with an actual event, which would be the Da Vinci event. Da Vinci herself, at least this version of Da Vinci, um, in terms of appearance, is basically simple. The Mona Lisa, which you can't really go wrong with that. As that personality, quirky, basically a genius, quirky and a genius. That's kind of all I could say. She does have more of a personality too, considering with her story that she actually plays in. However, she's not really a major. She is a major character in the story, just not really a major player in most of the main stuff, except when it counts. And of course, the original Da Vinci's death is kind of sad. Actually, no, not kind of. It's like pretty sad if you have a strong connection with her anyway. Um, of course, because of I don't know, they actually wrote her pretty well, and her personality is pretty much like likable. At least to me, I actually like her. I love her personality, even if she can be a little blunt sometimes. For me personally, I would actually put her. Can I move? Yes, there we go. It'll take me a while to actually try to move these characters, but yeah, I'll put her in possibly I'll put her in the best category, basically at the end. I think that's where she deserves. To be honest, just like with Mash, she's basically been there like a lot. Actually, where did I put Mash? Kind of lost her there. Hmm. So there she is. She's in the best area. Okay. Again, I might change these characters' positions sooner or later if I basically change my mind. But again, I put Da Vinci here, maybe at the less the best, basically. Because she's not compared to everybody else, she's not really much an active player in the story. She kind of is, but as a background, like or an oracle, so to speak. Okay, we're getting to the summer characters. Oh, well, here we go. Okay, swimsuit Tomomo. Swimsuit Tomomo, almost about the same as the original Tomomo, except more lively. Or I could say I would say something else, but maybe it's not exactly that much age appropriate too. But that's kind of what she was implying. But her personality is basically almost the same. The only difference is that she is more of trying to be well, not as a wife per se, like her original goal. It's more like a girlfriend, which is kind of either good or bad when you look at it. To be honest, she's not. She is a tiny bit more vain in this one than her original self. But they're basically the same personality. Put the summer just below original Tamomo, basically. I'll just put it there. Saber as Archer, so Altria. I do like this version, but personality-wise, she has a slight more personality, but in terms of everything else, she is pretty much better. Let's see where I put the original Saber. Jesus Christ, the more I look at this, there's a lot of characters. Oh, there she is. Okay. Technically speaking, she would just be just above Fran, because in honesty, she just has more personality, but everything else is kind of the same. She still has the main character syndrome. Kind of sad, but I think she got kind of have more liberties in the summer event, but I cannot rank her that much higher. Marie, Marie is exactly the same. She basically acts exactly the same as her original self. In terms of maybe appearance, where did I put Marie? Jeez. I remember I put her at the end. Oh, there she is. End of best. I would say I'll put her just below her original self. I do like her original appearance a bit more better than her summer appearance. At least in my opinion. Again, story wise, her story is kind of a little limited even with the summer stuff, but with personality they're exactly the same. Okay. Anne and Mary. I believe this is Mary, right? Jesus Christ. It's kind of hard because these two are always together. You can't really separate those two. At least this one. Where did I put her original self? She does have a much like not drastic but more profound personality, and that includes with her partner as well. Where did I put the original character? Original version. Okay, I'll put her in the good category before. She is slightly better since her personality is more profound, and in this, but her story is not exactly any different. Um, to be honest, I do like their summer versions more, and comparing to their personality actually bounces off of each other pretty well. The only difference is that this one, I think this is either Mary. No, this is Mary. The other one's Anne. The big one is Anne. The small one is Mary. Mary's is exactly the same, but she bounces off with the original Anne more better. I would just put her like this, kind of almost no sense. But the reason why I put like I think Anne or Mary, I really forgot. The only reason why I put her lower because Anne's personality is not really all that much there. It's only until we get to the summer point where she actually has more of a personality, at least in my opinion. But yeah, kind of been all there. If she had about a bit more personality, I would have put her maybe just next to Mary, but I don't know. Okay, we're gonna leave the duo off for now. Mordred, Summer Mordred, exactly the same personality except a bit more like doesn't have that much of a daddy issue, I guess. But technically speaking, she still kind of does. It's just that more profound. Kind of makes it a little cute, but also pretty sad. It's just like the Trunks and Vegeta dynamic all over again. But either way, I do like the Summer Mordred better than the original Mordred, at least in my opinion. Again, that's about it. Some of these summer events, these summer characters are very easy to just place in anyway. Okay, Assassin Skahatch or Swimsuit Skahatch. Where did I put the original Skahatch at? Can't really tell. But I think I put her in good before, right? No, I put her in great. Swimsuit Hatch has a much more profound personalities where basically her personality does grow much more than the original self. Although she is much more strict in that case, and to be honest, I kind of relate with Colin here. Technically speaking, I do have basically maybe the same favorness, just like with Colin with her. Would put her just above there. No, maybe there. There we go. Just below swimsuit Altria. Okay. Swimsuit Kiyomi. Oh boy. Where did I put Original Kiyomi in the good category? She's not. She is not like a Yandere in this one. She still acts like it, but at least is not so murderous. but she still has the same personality, just dialed up to like 100, except with no murder stuff. That's basically kind of it. I will put her just above. Ooh, maybe right here. That's all I could say. He sorry, but he yeah, sorry about that. But that you're just gonna be in between those two for now. Swimsuit Martha. Now this is compared to the other Martha, which I put it in okay. This Martha is the version of Martha I like. You just she just think of like Martha's regular personality that you've seen from the nun, but like more developed and not being a priestess. Because at this point, like she still has the priestess status. It's just that like she's technically on a break. She's not in duty. So like yeah. I do like this one, and also I do like it that she is a physical fighter, which kind of puts up points to it. She doesn't like she won't hesitate to get her hands dirty, and that's kind of what I like. Her appearance wise, and for her appearance, Jesus Christ, some of the art for the official art for her, you can see those abs. Those abs are pretty nice too. But in all honesty, the how they write her story is pretty much like about the same as how much they write her story last time. It's just that her personality is really much more developed here and not just related to a religious setting like a religious standpoint because she is not exactly a priestess now. She's more like on break. And it's kind of sweet. She has a nice hat too, of course. And unlike the other time where as a priestess she is super strict, this one she's more lenient basically. In all honesty, I think in story she does appear a bit more in story. Just later, not really much to know for. But I do really like this version of Martha. So would be not in the okay category. I think I'll put her maybe in below great category, just above Nero Bride, right? Actually, no. I gotta continue. Okay, I'm gonna do something real quick. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna change these four. Okay, I changed more than four. It was more like six or seven of them. But yeah, kind of changed the little position in great area for now. So let's continue on. That's where Martha is going to be, just right between here. I do think that this version of Martha is the more well-developed one, even though technically speaking, like in personality, yes. In story, kind of wish that Martha had a tiny bit more story, but it is what it is. Okay, now we're getting to the second event that's after that, which is the Fate Prism. Oh boy. So okay, so we'll get the Elizabeth, the original one, Ilya, the original Ilya, the child. She has a very lovable personality, and appearance wise, is just a typical little girl character, honestly. But in terms of story, she has a very good story too. But of course, she kind of goes to the trope of a magical girl in most of her tropes. And I'm only looking at this in Fate Grand Order, not the actual crossover series that she actually comes from, because in Fate Grand Order, she does have a bit more difference in story, surprisingly, than in the actual show that she actually comes from. But if I'm just yeah, so if I did take into the outside story into account, I would just technically put her in the good category, like below. But she's deserving of middle category, at least for me. I would put her just above Jack. I'll just put her above Jack. That's kind of where I would end it off with that. If I'm counting the outside series, I'll put her maybe in top, like somewhere around like mid good or bottom good, or like mid okay or bottom good. It's very hard to me to tell because she's kind of a more likable character and the more normal of the second normal of the three. Now, speaking of which, we got the free servant Chloe. Now, unlike the other Chloe, she is not an asshole, but this one is disturbing. In terms of just personality alone, she has a very good personality, and appearance wise, I don't know. I think appearance wise, isn't she supposed to be like an Emiya, like their version of from Prism, the Emiya of that version? I don't know because her attack is similar to Emiya's blade attack, but or at least for Noble Phantasm and her moveset. But either way, to be honest, like for her story, it's kind of just revolved around one thing. In terms of personality, she is feisty, but maybe a bit too much, even for her age, which is kind of concerning. Actually, it's pretty much concerning. I do think she's just would if this was like maybe if she was maybe written differently, she would be in the good category, like somewhere around like maybe was still below Ilya, but I think I'll just put her maybe in the top, just like in somewhere in the top. Okay, she basically is okay. She has a good story to her. It's just that maybe the way she's written is just not really my thing, honestly, and concerning. What the hell are they thinking with this character? Hero Elizabeth. Um, where did I put the original Elizabeth at? Okay, and then where did I put the Halloween? Most of these Elizabeths are all in the same range, which would still just be in the okay category. But I do like Hero just a tiny bit. Her appearance is actually really surprising because it is super similar to Dragon Quest, which honestly I grown accustomed to and actually loved Dragon Quest at the time, even a little tiny bit before I actually noticed that this was a reference. However, I don't really follow Dragon Quest all that much anymore. But yeah, kind of is just I love the reference that her appearance does make. As in terms of her personality, a bit more heroic and not really focusing on you. Of course, she is a tiny bit narcissistic as well in some cases, or not narcissistic, but just pretty vain. In terms of story, her story kind of follows like an RPG, which is maybe the more funny one. Maybe it's kind of a cop out, but I will put her just maybe above Chloe. She kind of just have the same energy technically without the weird needing for love thing. Actually, to be honest, I'll do a quick one. I'll just put Halloween Elizabeth just above. That's kind of where I would put it there. Yeah. All right. Now we'll see. The time we have is wow. Yeah, I told you. See, I told you that may I don't need so much explanation on some of these summer events. Okay, we're in this next one in event, the Cleopatra event. Don't remember which one this is. In appearance wise, as Cleopatra, I mean she's pretty. Not gonna lie, but in terms of actual personality, a little vain, honestly. And of course, she uses her queen status a lot. In terms of story, she does have a pretty good amount of story towards her, but in terms of her event, it's kind of pretty sad. It's like a very good, it's like a sweet love story with her and Caesar, just until when she figures out that Caesar is a round boy. Yeah, their dynamics actually really good. In all honesty, even though I kind of like her just maybe for her appearance alone, I would say that I would rank her in the okay category, just below Caesar. The only reason why is that I think Caesar is more entertaining than Cleopatra, but their love dynamics is actually really cute and a little bit sad for Caesar too. I'm just gonna say that. Okay, Vlad Lancer, Vlad the Third. Surprisingly, this version is the one where looks you think he would be the Berserker version, but no. Mm, for this one is exactly the same. They're both different versions because they're both in different points in time. The this Lancer version is bit more intertwined with the Elizabeth that we do know. I am still indifferent with Vlad, but I'll put him a bit above his original version at least. Jean Alter Lily. This is a very her story by itself is a very sweet one. Her personality is just too adorable, honestly. I'll just put her in the good category because it's not much needed, and she is technically the third of them that are always together. Jack, Nursery Rhyme, and Jean. I would actually put Jean just maybe above Nursery Rhyme, just because she's kind of almost the same as Jean Alter. The reason I would actually put her above Jean Alter as well. The only reason why I'm not is because the more you think about it, The rest of the time when she actually put as in the character will technically be the time where like Jean Alter, and Jean Lily are just like sisters, like a family. It's a very cute dynamic, but she doesn't even have a very good big role, which is okay. Usually, you don't really pay attention to the child all that much. Kind of wish she did have more attention, but hmm, that's well. I think. Well, I'll just put her in the good category. I do like her Christmas event, which is actually a cute one, where she learns about the meaning of Christmas, which every child should know. Okay, we're getting to the oh Babylon. Oh boy. Wait, Babylon already. Oh yeah, that's right. It's Camelot then Babylon. Jesus Christ, I didn't know that was so many events that's been taking that time. Alright, let's get it. Ishtar. This one, not exactly a big fan of her. I know a lot of people like her. I do too, but okay, maybe that was a lie. I don't exactly like this version of Ishtar at all. The only reason why is because she is basically exactly the same character as Rin from from the Fate series. I think it was Fate Zero too. But yeah, this Ishtar is exactly the same, almost exactly the same as Rin. And to be honest, it's the same body too. In terms of appearance, she is attractive, not gonna lie, but I don't like her personality one bit. A bit too demanding, a bit like maybe a bit too demanding, not all that kind, and she would basically flirt to get her way. So that's kind of it. The story that they written for her in Babylon, where she first appeared, just kind of just like your typical like god that needs to be worshipped and stuff like that, with a rivalry with Gilgamesh that's really entertaining to be honest. In all honesty, yeah, I appearance alone, I would put her in the good category, but no, that may be a bit too much. That maybe give her a little too much credit. I'll basically put her just below Edison. In all honesty, she's just okay. She's only up here this high on okay just because of her appearances alone. I That's all I can give her. Her story is nice too, which that could qualify for anything to be in the bottom good category. It's just that personality, don't exactly like it. I don't hate it. It's just that I don't really like how she's acting. There's other versions of Ishtar that I do like more, so but we'll get to there later. Okay, I don't remember your name, but this character is technically a they, but portrayed as a he. I might say he for the most part. A rival to Gilgamesh. Not much of a story, but in there's a side story as well where basically he learns the meaning of life or something like that. Personality is pretty bland, but story kind of makes it up for it. As for appearance, pretty bland too. So average, but the story actually does carry a lot. The story is basically again finding the meaning of purpose in life and something like that, basically. So it's pretty neat. Would technically put him in the good category, but I'll put him in the bottom just because the story kind of carries, at least for that. Quetzal, oh boy, Quetzal is one of my Quetzal is my most favorite divine spirit. I just can't help it. I think it's pretty obvious why I like her, honestly. Even in the anime too, but technically speaking, we're not talking about that. The story that she revolves around in is is very sweet. I do like her. Even with just the small stuff of the marriage stuff, I would like to marry her, honestly, personally for me. And also just the character, just how your main protagonist interacts with the character speaking Spanish. It's just that, oh wow, okay. Maybe he's just trying to be a flirt. I don't know. But in terms of like story, that's kind of pretty much plus, and I think everyone in Babylon would agree that she is maybe one of the better females, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe a lot of the people agree. In terms of personality, she's a person who likes to have fun a lot, basically, and would help in any way she can. So typically, like Ishtar, like kind of like the same ranking as Ishtar, but with that rivalry as well. And of course, she's much more nicer. I will say that. In terms of appearance, is just in appearance is just Aztec. It's like South like Central American, you know, Aztec style or Mayan style. I think it's Aztec, right? Quetzalcoatl, the original like the original myth legend, or at least like portrayation. I don't know how you say that word, but like she's Aztec. Am I right? I might have to look that up later. I really did forgot. I remember it before, but it's been a while since I had to reference Quetzalcoatl. So yeah, Quetzal, she's a I just like her. Okay, I don't know. I just kind of just pretty simple to say. I think any people who like Quetzal would actually have their reasons. I would agree to any of those reasons, honestly. She's just a lovable big sister type of character later on in the series, and it's really sweet. I do love it. Would actually put her honestly. Would put her in. She is basically my personal favorite. Forever love. I would just put her above Shida. That's how much, at least with this character now. She's just basically one of those characters I really like. I think that's about it. I am just messing up my words because, to be honest, words cannot describe how much I actually love her. In all honesty, the thing is really much very simple. Also, the way she talks is very lively as well. I love it. Mm. Also, her appearance. Sometimes that when you get to see her, when the actual like official artists actually make pictures of her, like for craft essences, they're really good. She's pretty brick too, so that's pretty good too. I don't know. Also, I don't know. I really like her. I like really like her scary face. Her scary face is not exactly is kind of scary, but not that scary. Honestly, I don't know. I really like it. I might be weird, but like to be honest, I think a lot of Quetzalcoatl fans would actually understand why. Also, it's just how it's basically the general background of the culture that she comes from is really interesting as well, and there's a lot of lore in there too. Also, she's a lucha fighter. I like wrestling, not as much as before, but man, it just takes so much memories back when I actually used to like wrestling. And again, the story how the she was written into the story is really good too, at least in my opinion. And if you watch the anime version of Babylon, you would know. I think I said a lot of about Ketsu already. I think you would know already how much I actually like this character. So yeah, but she is not my most favorite character. But she's coming up soon, I think, depending if we have enough time. So here we go. All right. Caster Gilgamesh, the actual Gilgamesh that we've seen, I would say that he's almost the same as the original Gilgamesh, except when in Babylon he's been written much more differently and a bit more like and not exactly a bit more likable. I would say like not a lot, but maybe a bit is actually the right word. So a bit more likable. I will put him just below, but in the good category. He's been promoted a lot from and that's actually high honor. I still don't really like Gilgamesh because of how he still acts, but it makes more sense because of how he's been written in Babylon, and that's pretty good. All right, little Medusa Lily. She is a sweet, innocent child, and her smile must be protected. I'm just saying that right now. I really like her. Her in appearance wise, I mean, she's an adorable little child. Like most children. I mean, like to be honest, like I think for most female characters, at least for like children, any child character, they had to look cute. And honestly, she fits the nail pretty well. Her story is also pretty sad, but also pretty cute as well. Whereas I put the original Medusa, I think I put her in the good category, right? No, I put her in great category. Yeah, she's kind of there. She has more innocence than the original Medusa, but technically her story or personality is almost the same, except she's a bit more shy to herself. Would put her just maybe above Mordred, I would say. Just for basically how the writers portray her in the story. and of course, her personality. That's goes the same with Gorgon, or basically adult Medusa. About the same too. A bit more of a tragic story, to be honest. Like you know, I think that she just needs a hug. That's about it. And you might die for that, but she seems like she needs a hug. In all honesty, I think all the Medusas are kind of about the same in there too. Put her just basically above the Lily. Actually, maybe above Lancelot. I think I'll just put her there. I do like her appearance. It's a bit more monstrous, but also you can still see the regular Medusa in her, basically. But she's kind of more of a far gone type of character. The more I think about it, maybe not too much. Maybe that's kind of giving this character too much credit. Her story's actually pretty good, and give me a sec. Sorry, just needed to do something outside so I can get rid of the background noise. If you guys have even heard it yet. Either way, yeah, I think I put like um Gorgon maybe just below, maybe just above Medusa. I don't know. I like Gorgon more than Medusa. I do think their personalities are tiny bit more, just tiny bit more different. They have the same personality except Gorgon is a bit more, a little murderous and more serious in her threats, basically. And I think she just needs some hugs. Honestly, I think she just needs a hug. But yeah, yeah. Most of the Medusas are all in the great category. I would just lump them all together, honestly. But I do think Lily was a bit more well written in some regards compared to the other two. But then again, Medusa would be much more higher than these two. I'm not counting any other appearances that she made that are outside from Fake Grand Order, basically. Jaguar Man. I forgot her real name. Honestly, I thought this character was a guy until I noticed it's a girl. Doesn't even look like one, but you know, it's still okay. I still think that Jaguar Man is actually a cute character. In the design, it's really cute. Even though in personality, the personality is cute too, but you know, it's trying to be serious and all of that stuff. She does have a alternate version where she kind of is like a samurai mafia, but I'm sorry, mafia boss. But that's kind of badass too. But in terms of like the two different personalities that she takes up, it's pretty cool. I do like both of them, honestly. I do like both. There we go. I like both of the personalities basically, and they're still the same character, except one is more of a free going one, while the other one's a serious mob boss who is also a badass, but still has that caring personality too. And this how they write in her, but the thing is, how they write her in the story is mostly just for comedic stuff until she needs to get serious. Where I think in Babylon she kind of only has one serious moment, or is that in an event? I really don't remember. I do like Jaguar Man. I would just put him maybe in the great category as her in a great category as well. Think maybe just below Martha, Summer Martha, to say the least. I think I'll just leave it up to that. All right, not exactly a servant, but it's here, I guess, and I guess we can summon them, or maybe in the future once they've run out of characters to do. But yeah, Tamaha, the Beast One, you would say, or maybe this was Beast Two. I don't know. Technically, just a villain. That's kind of all I could say. Technically speaking, I think you can summon this character too later in the future down the line, but I do believe that this character is just kind of just there as a big boss, basically. Like Dark Gaia. To be honest, Tamaha is like Dark Gaia from Sonic Unleashed in a lot of ways, honestly. A world ending threat, except for the fact that if everybody dies, then it dies. But it tends to kill on everything, so yeah. Just as written as a character, it's just kind of just a big boss. So if this was just like any other character, it was just like written just for one purpose and one purpose only, that would be kind of hard to do. I would usually always put them in the F because like maybe, but no, there's no relatability, so I cannot put him any higher. But the thing is, in terms of appearance, I mean, the appearance is actually pretty nice as well. But the beast itself is actually pretty cool looking. In all honesty, I think the only problem of ranking characters like these, it's only worth ranking these characters if they actually have a good personality or at least written well instead of just looks. For this character is also a villain, not even a supporting character yet, I believe. Would basically put this character in the mech category, but as a but of course most villains, any villain that's basically in the mech categories would be almost too diverge on okay. I would technically put her in okay, but I'll put her in because to be honest, it's just written as a villain. There's really no uniqueness towards it. I cannot say anything in gameplay again, so yeah. Merlin. I have a soft spot for Merlin. He may be a technical asshole in a technical sense, but he's pretty much a cool dude even though he doesn't exactly do all that much. But he's still pretty cool dude, and his design is actually really nice. I would also even say cute. Um, I'll put Merlin in the good category, but maybe just above, maybe above Nightingale. I would say, at least personally for me, I think Merlin's just good enough. The way that he's written into the story is kind of just there, but also he does appear a tiny bit more later in other events. But yeah, he only kind of is a major player in Babylon and before that too in some occasions, but I think I just put him in a good category. I do like his personality, even though it's a bit childlike. And I do like his appearances, basically. Even his alternate costume looks cool too. Okay. Ghidorah the Beast or Ghidorah is like go Goji Go Gogeta. I would say Gogeta, but that's not really that correct, isn't it? This is the boss version, and I would say the same for Solomon as well. Um, both Solomon Beast and regular Solomon are technically the same character, except original Solomon has his own backstory, which later goes down the line to the other one. I'll bring these both together. In terms of how I like them, they're villains, but they are relatable villains. So they do have that kind of pass, and they're both written really well, despite just being final bosses. But Solomon himself has a backstory. Technically speaking, in terms of design, I do think in final boss terms that the beast works pretty well. But since they're both in the same story expect, I'll just kind of put these two together just so like this. Yeah, that seems about right. All right. Now we get to ones that are actually event characters. Now, here's the thing. Hassan, the King Hassan, is technically a character that does appear here, but he basically has his own later down the line an event for himself. At least that's how I remember it. I think that's what happened. Yeah. But we'll go get to first Hassan later. No, we'll rank him right now. First Hassan is a badass looking character who does badass things. Well, not badass looking, but he's a very scary looking guy, which is cool. But he's kind of there for the cool factor. As I'm just saying, I'm ranking him first since because he did appear in Babylon. Or was it Camelot? No, he appeared in Camelot. It was in Camelot that he was kind of a badass holding up against Gawain. But in terms of every other Hassan, he's really much super mysterious, so I can't really. But I mean that's a factor. But I can't really put him anywhere. I would surprisingly would just put him just above Nero Bright, and that'll be it. The more I think about it, I think I'll put Nero Bright maybe below even more. Sorry for anybody who likes Nero Bright, but I think I just put her just here. That's kind of where I will put her, just in the good category. All right. Oh boy. Now we get to a character. I tell you guys we're going to be here now. Sooner or later when I talk about Ketsu's discussion, this Ketsu's explanation. But yeah, Minamoto Musashi. I love Musashi. is without a doubt. I just love her a lot. Her appearance, she's beautiful. I'm gonna say that, and she's badass looking too, and that counts for something. And she has four swords. Swords are cool, and yes, maybe just a child of me just talking, but swords are cool. And four swords. You have heard of people like using three swords, and Musashi uses four swords. Technically five if you kind of count the sword that she gets next later in the story down the line. She first appears in an event, which to be honest, I fell in love with the character. Honestly, her personality just is just cute. It's just cute and innocent, and I just like her personality in all that regard. In terms of story in the first event, it's kind of very minimal, but she's just really mysterious. That's kind of until you get to the pseudo singularity where you actually finally meet her like after years of the first event that she appears in, which is actually a very good thing. And you have a whole adventure with her together, which to be honest, I mean, like kind of that's how they did it. I again, that's kind of where I fell in love with the character anyway, because how she is written for the story, basically there to break her limits, going reach the goal where no one has gone before. It is a selfish goal, but it's just really it's just for her. I just like it, and her personality. She's not so serious all the time, but I just really like it. It's just that the innocence too, but also the badass stuff. But she's serious when she needs to be, and of course she likes to eat a lot, like a lot, which is a lot. In terms of her like Karen, in terms of like appearance, basically, she does have her appearance are all basically very consistent. Basically, in her terms of appearance, again, she's a four sworded wielding samurai, which is badass too. I think I said it a lot. I just really like the character. If I really did just like if I'm really just confusing you at this point of me just like giving my explanations, they all sound the same too. And if my explanations of describing her of why I like her, if she sounds similar to Goku, she's basically Goku in a nutshell, who wields four swords. That and the girl. That's basically about it. Now the thing is that the reason why I love her is because of the mystery behind her. Because even though you got to know her a bit more, you kind of also do know that she does have history behind her, because she has a thing where she cannot really stay in one place, and every time she tries to, people just kind of drove her off because she's just very eccentric, and that's kind of sad, honestly. To be honest, I mean, think that Fate actually wrote the best story with her, and I actually like it the most, honestly. Shimoshi is really the one that I really love. Basically, I really love that singularity, but yeah, we'll get to more. I have to just talk about it right now. The thing is that her sacrifices that every time she makes is very much very, very emotional, at least to me. The thing is that you've been with her almost the whole time with a event that for most people is basically a very good introduction to her, because you get her main personality traits and quirks, and then having the whole story together where she kind of is trying to, you know, support not only her, but you also, and then going to meet do her goals. And of course, later there is, I would admit, something that I do have a little nitpick or at least a pet peeve of mine when it comes to Musashi and Fate. And the problem with Musashi in Fate currently, well, until you get to Atlantis. Yeah, I will talk about that later. But currently, right now, like throughout some of the Lost Belts, She appears later in possibly, I think maybe the first Lost Belt. I don't know. It's the Russian Lost Belt. She appears already, and mind you, it's been at least 1 year compared to the big gap in her event in Shiroshima. Think that's the name of the place. I of the singularity. I don't remember, but comparing to that, it was like, see, Fate's been like 15 years already. So like 2015, that's when the game starts, and then like continuing on, maybe written off later. Like her event starts like maybe like 3 to 4 years later after that, and then the big wait, which was like 7 years in total, basically. But then later you get like that, and then you get like the first, um, you know, the first lost belt, which was not even a year actually. The thing is that Shiroshima, at least that's what I'm going to call it right now. I know I'm saying it wrong possibly, but for Musashi's singularity, the main pseudo singularity that you would do before that, yeah, before you do that, I do believe that possibly, I don't remember. I keep forgetting. No, um, Musashi's Musashi's lost belt is not the last one in the pseudo singularities. Why I say lost belt is a pseudo singularity. It's not Musashi's singularity is not the last pseudo singularity, but maybe second to last if I remember. But again, comparing to that, and then the next one, and you got the first lost belt. She appears pretty quickly, and to be honest, that's technically like a year and a half, which is Academy record, honestly, for her. It's like you have like a 7 year wait period of this character, and then she kind of appears, still the same kind of character, and I still like her for that. But then later, the story, how they wrote her in, like I know she may be possibly maybe the only servant that could actually help you in those times of needs, possibly once you cannot find any other person strong as Musashi, which I do think Musashi is one of the strong, is maybe one of the top three strongest servants in Grand Order, but in a lore perspective. But the thing is that I am technically got a little tired of actually keep seeing her, and that kind of hurts me because I really love Musashi. She is my favorite servant, and no, it's just saying that kind of hurts, but it is kind of true. They do kind of push her a little bit too much in the story later on in those other events, and especially and but then you get to the point of the one of the lost belts that were a little recent. It's not the one, not the pseudo lost belt. It's kind of, I think it's the one. Yeah, it's basically the one from Atlantis where she basically sacrifices herself to defeat the God, beat the god, which is just a black hole that is on infinite space, and she cut infinite space by going absolute zero. That is badass, and also pretty sad. The way they sent her off is actually a very satisfying way, although taking into account, it kind of seems like the adventures that she went with us didn't exactly matter. Then again, it kind of does make sense because she is a tiny bit selfish, but she did loosen up a bit, and I think that's like a major plot hole. I don't know. It just maybe might be my Musashi bias possibly, but in all honesty, yeah, the ending where she kind of sacrifices herself is pretty sad too because she kind of erased herself from the database, which is not true at all in the game. You could still summon for her, but like it's kind of a very touching moment to actually, you know, end it off with. So that's kind of why, that's really just why Musashi is my favorite. She is technically a Goku character. She's basically a female Goku with four swords who actually has a very good character development that is not a flat type character arc. This is technically Goku if he's not a flat character. Flat characters are good, sometimes necessary in some stories and can be written well. But this one's like an example that if you don't want Goku to be a flat character, archetype character, then Musashi is kind of the right one to do, at least kind of following that. Also, apparently there is another version of Musashi, which is the original Musashi, which is a guy, which she does talk to in the spiritual, psychic patch of between universes or dimensions or realities. I really don't know. Never been explained, but both the female and the male counterparts actually do talk to each other. Kind of interesting, honestly. Never been explained. And technically speaking, this is in her singularity that she actually is the main focus with. So, yeah. But I've been rambling on a lot for Musashi, and I do apologize. I just really love Musashi. Can you tell how much I actually love her? Anyway, she is my favorite servant of all time. So it's kind of obvious. I'm gonna skip to the point that she is my number one favorite. So obviously, just gonna put her in the top 10, just right there. Number one, Musashi. There we go. Now she does have a summer version of her, which to be honest, I would rank the same place. So basically, those two are going to be in the same category because they're basically the same character, legit the same character. But we'll get to that later, and I'll still remember. But yeah, Musashi, the first top 10 that I'm just gonna say outright. I am doing the top 10, but at the very end, when I finish ranking everybody, and then from the Forever Love, I'll basically put my top 10 right here so I can give you a better look. Also, the top 10 would include some of the ones down below as my just biases. So top 10 would be my bias parts basically. Or it would just be for Forever Love. It's really complicated at this point. I'm still not thinking it straight too. But yeah, top 10 would be at the end of the series once we finish ranking everybody. Alright, next. Alright. Excuse me, I got an itchy nose. Okay, next we have another event. X Alter. Alter X. She is adorable. She is the sweetest little thing. Her personality is she let's just say this. If she didn't lose her memories, she's basically Darth Vader. And to be honest, you get bonus points because Darth Vader, I really like Darth Vader, honestly. But the big one at that is that this is the version I'm counting for, and it's the one where basically she has amnesia, where she just becomes an innocent schoolgirl who is addicted to sweets, very addicted to sweets. It's very cute too. How they written her in the story, it's very confusing, which honestly kind of hinders of my placement for her. But she has a very lovable, innocent personality, and she just loves chocolates. I would really just put her. It's very simple. I would just put her maybe in the best category. Best category would basically put her just below Da Vinci, honestly. The more I think about it, I think X. No, X deserves to be in Forever Love. The thing is, just maybe just a tiny bit biased, but I do think that she is the cooler looking one, honestly. And of course, I think this is what Altria's Saber would have been if she had a personality that wasn't, you know, main character syndrome. Moriarty. Oh boy, this old guy. I really like his personality. He may be a evil prick, but he's not too evil. He's still pretty helpful in some regards, but in terms of how they write him, he's like the twist villain who you never really expected, but you're like, of course it's Moriarty, because Moriarty always has a evil scheme in the back of his mind that will come out sooner or later. I think, yeah, he does appear in a singularity. I just don't remember which one, but I don't know. I think it's maybe in the pseudo singularity too. It maybe he appears in the pseudo singularity. Moriarty himself, he would be ranking at the same place as Holmes, but Holmes is not. But Sherlock is not here yet. Would put Moriarty maybe in the good category, but I will put him maybe just below Mary. That's all I would say there. Yeah. He's also a wise old guy too, so there's that. Emiya Alter, he is he's a good character, but not entirely. He now actually no, he's an okay character, just below Edison. He's technically very much different from Emiya, but he is only a one note type character who only has like one personality trait. So how you write his story is like an assassin on a mission. I would say that's interesting, so it makes it more mysterious. But for me personally, for some reason, it doesn't really click with me. That's all I'm gonna say. The headless, the headless horseman who is actually riding a giant demon wolf, as many berserkers do. I mean, like, yeah, but yeah, he's cool. It's just yeah, right here, yeah, it's just about it. He's not a berserker, but kind of acts like one. But is an Avenger. It's kind of hard for me to say because I really don't know at that point. Okay, you. You're also a really cool dude. He's basically, I would say that he's actually pretty much the same placement as I would put some of the others too. Don't know exactly your name, but if I'm gonna say he does have a similar personality and story compared to another character, I do believe. Yeah, I think he's in the great category. Just with him, right here. They're both these two are really much the same. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. Hopefully, maybe you guys don't see my mouse. I'm gonna check right now. Yeah, you go. Of course, you guys didn't see it. Yeah, maybe that'll work now. Yeah, these two are together. So yeah, maybe you guys don't see my mouse now. I mean, like it's very small. But yeah, the original King Arthur. Surprisingly, you think this character would exactly be the same as Saber, but actually no. He has a natural personality. This guy actually has a personality, and I'm really surprised. So I'm just gonna find Saber and then just put him in the great area. Honestly, I'm just gonna put him really just above 100 Hassan. He is just he's just basically what I like from Saber. Basically, it's almost the same character, just has a personality that's actually kind of what you would expect from King Arthur. A person with title of King Arthur, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, we kind of got to the second part of the Gudaguda event, and we're almost at an hour, so I'm gonna kind of end this kind of quickly once we finish these two Gudaguda characters. You, I do forget your name though. And to be honest, almost makes sense. He is kind of a memorable character in terms of design. It's just in personality, he kind of has just one thing. He's just kind of an angry general who loves salted pickles. Weirdly salted pickles. He's a good character. I would just put him maybe above the actual other Gilgamesh. He does have story, which is much and personality that is much more defined and profound in the future installments. But to be honest, just in the good category. Cha Cha. Hmm. She kind of acts like a little kid. She is a little annoying, and she's supposed to be Oda's auntie, and a little annoying. Technically speaking, I would just put her just above him. Honestly, put above him, and that's about it. And then later will be next part. We're going to go with the search event to the next pseudo singularity, to the next summary event, and then some more if God, and then we have and then we get to the point for the actual event, which is the one where Musashi's first actual like main focus singularity, which we'll be doing soon. But yeah, it was a very much a long ride still. This is part three, am I right? Yeah, this is part three, and we are not even close yet. I do think we'll actually speed up a lot more, since because at this point it will just be mostly just summer events characters and event characters, honestly. Some of these don't really need so much explanation, but Oh boy, in possibly part 4, you guys will actually hear me complain about a character that I hate so much more than Astolfo, and she's only the 4th character away on the next part. But anyways, this is it for part 3. I do know that this is actually much more quicker than before. We got a lot more characters down as much as I thought, but we were speeding a lot more. It's just that right now there's still a lot more characters that we still need to do. But I think we will be skipping a lot of these characters too, as some of them are just alternate versions. But I don't know if we'll get there in time. Either way, that's about it for the video, and this is basically all of it for now. And again, I'll be changing some placements again later soon before we do our final verdict, my final verdict. But yeah, who is, again, leave a comment down below. Been saying this for like the 2 last videos, but who's your favorite servant currently for the ones I actually kind of showed you in this version? And is Musashi actually one of your favorites? She is my favorite, the favorite for me, but is she one of your favorites? If not, who is actually your favorite? Which, to be honest, would be the question I just asked in the first place. Either way, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in part 4. Oh boy, this is much more longer than I thought. Oh boy.